So last week, Trump's administration revealed their plan to take away about half of the benefits from people on the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. This was formerly known as food stamps, and replace it with a monthly delivery of prepackaged food service. They're calling the program America's Harvest Box, and they even compared it to a very popular weekly meal subscription, Blue Apron, in hopes to sell the idea to the American people. Needless to say that this plan was not very well received. There are several issues right off the bat that would need to be addressed. First is the costs of putting these boxes together and what contractor is going to be making money from this program. And it absolutely makes no sense to cut into the budget just to pay it into these unnecessary steps of prepackaging the food. So we're looking at a lot of overhead costs. And also, there's no doubt that this will probably be a privatized program. So instead of the money going directly to the end user and back into the economy, it would go into the hands of probably a single corporation. So as of 2016, about roughly 45 million people use SNAP benefits, 40% of whom are white, 25% of whom are Black or African American, 11% who are Latino, and the remaining amount are Native American or Asian. The average benefit for an individual is roughly $126, and for a household, the average is about $256, which is nothing in the grand scheme of things. Currently, 260,000 retailers accept SNAP, and that would cut a big piece of revenue, money which they pay their employees with out of their budgets. That there's already a program where people in need get these kind of pre-made boxes of food, and they are called food banks. And they have very little cost into running them. The food is typically donated, and it's all volunteer-based. Another issue that arises is dictating what foods poor people should eat. This is yet another way of punishing someone who is already struggling. Packaged food being less nutritious than fresh, or that people who have allergies and illnesses that actually aren't able to process this type of food that will be coming into the meal plans here, they could get sick and be able to eat the foods that they are given, which again adds to more food waste if you think about it.
I would just like to interject here. This is Janet, and I wanted to tell my story about how when I first had to leave work, and it takes forever to get disability. So at the time, my husband had no income, and I had to leave work because of health reasons. And at that time, I applied for the benefits. We used them for either 3 or 4 months. I can't remember, but he ended up getting some income after that, so we stopped using them at that time. But my condition is a lymphatic condition. I'm allergic to soy, which is in a lot of processed foods, and so therefore, me, like, if I was on this program, and there are hundreds of thousands of people that have similar lymphatic conditions or allergies to foods, you're subjecting these people to having to eat what you're telling them to eat, and that is not it's just not feasible to me. It's not right. It's not. There's no freedom in that. There's no, it feels like you're putting these restrictions on people just because they're poor.
Right.
It's ridiculous. So
it's kind of this mentality: if you're poor, all you have the right to eat is beans. You should be punished for your circumstance. And not to mention that you have an allergy to soy, right? I mean, and it's in everything. And so you have to actually be able to select what foods you're capable of eating and what your body is capable of processing. And so it would probably just make your condition worse, or could have some serious medical consequences.
Yeah.
That's an additional burden on society.
Yep. Yeah, no,
And so
there's so many people I know that have, I mean, they can't eat processed foods, and they shouldn't eat processed foods. It makes us, it makes people with my condition, there's lymphedema, there's lipedema, and mine is Derkham's, which is a rare condition. But still, there's hundreds of thousands of people that have these issues, and that's just one type. There's a lot of people that are allergic to soy. There are a lot of people that are allergic to a lot of stuff in the process, and they don't feel good eating the processed food. And it's just not right to dictate you have to eat. Here's your powdered milk. You can't have real milk because we're going to send you once a month powdered milk. Like that's what you're supposed to use for your milk now. I mean, I don't know. It's just bullshit to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, it's just a way to punish people further. And I think that we've got Rio Slade, who is a writer for Actify, wrote a piece called "Oh Snap: An Invasion of Privacy," where she discusses how the people with money enjoy many more freedoms, as you were mentioning, than those struggling to make ends meet. And she goes on to write that implicit in the expectation of privacy is the right to avoid societal judgment among the wealthy, while disproportionately scrutinizing every aspect of poverty, from working refrigerators to cell phones. And part of this trend is used as a sort of means test against providing a safety net under the guise that those who are poor because of their own behaviors. And so the argument goes kind of, why should I have to feed your kids when you can afford a cell phone? Or as Fox News notes, the poor have refrigerators. And so it just amazes me that there are people who hold this belief that the poor should only get what is deemed necessary. And what is deemed necessary is subpar and below standard. It's necessary to have food and to have healthy food for survival. And so why should they get, like you said, powdered milk, beans, processed food that some people will be unable to digest, and anything along those lines that would only lower their standard of living? And we live in the richest nation on earth ever known to mankind, yet this is how we treat the poor. To say that they should be, I don't know, getting less because they should be drinking powdered milk, it's ridiculous. And I mean, they have no freedom of choice because you're going to dictate what they should eat. And that goes back to this freedom aspect, which the country's freedom. This freedom benefit is only for the wealthy.